Hey everyone, we're doing something a little different than our normal videos today. As you can tell, we're not outside hiking the Buckeye Trail. It's winter. We can't always get out and enjoy the trail. But we thought we would bring you something a little different. We're going to talk about our two favorite things, craft beer and the Buckeye Trail.
Right.
Specifically, we're going to talk about why you should visit every brewery on the Buckeye Trail. So cheers.
Cheers.
So let's talk about what we're doing today. But before we get started, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Blonde Barista from Ignite Brewing in Barberton. Yeah.
Yep, it's in Barberton. So we'll talk a little bit more about that one in a few minutes.
Now, what do you have?
I have Blood Orange IPA from Thirsty Dog. This is a classic. I always like to have this one around. Juicy, refreshing, a little bit hoppy, delicious beer.
Okay. So what we're doing today is we're going to talk about every brewery that you can actually walk to from the Buckeye Trail. Now, we decided that anything falling under a mile walk would count as something you can take an easy, quick side trip to. So something like it's a nice thing to do on a hot day. We like to take a quick detour sometimes, grab a drink, maybe grab a meal if they have food, and just check out all the breweries. So we're going to go through all of them. I think there's 33 that we found. And we're just go through them all and talk about how they are and try to categorize what we like about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so full disclosure, we haven't been to all of the breweries. Yep. We're trying. We haven't gotten there yet. We've been to most of these. We'll call out the ones that we haven't been to yet. We have a category for that. But the ones we have been to, we'll talk about either whether they have really great beer and that you should go visit them, if they have great atmosphere, or if it's something that's like a perfect rest stop. If you're hiking and it's nice and warm and you want something refreshing just to cool off for a little bit for a break. So let's go ahead and get started. What's first on the list?
All right. First up, we've got Forked Creek Brewery. They are in Defiance on the Defiance section.
Okay. So I guess this one's pretty simple.
Yeah.
We haven't been there.
We walked past it, but they were closed on the day we were hiking that section of the trail, so we had to skip it. It's on a golf course. It looks really interesting. We'd love to check it out sometime when they're open.
Yep.
Next up, we got 77 Brew House. They're in the city of Navarre on the Massillon section.
Yep.
They unfortunately opened after we passed through that section, so we have not been there yet either, but we'll have to make a trip. It's pretty close to where we live, so we'll make a trip down there and check it out sometime.
I promise this will get more interesting. We've been to more of these. Just the way they worked out alphabetically, we haven't been to the first two.
All right, so next up we got Buffalo Rock Brewing Company. They're in Waterville on the Defiance section.
So I have been to this one. It was not while I was hiking the Buckeye Trail. I went there separately. I thought they were really interesting. Every time I've been there, I think I've been there twice now. Really busy, great atmosphere, great. You can tell they have a lot of community support. It's always been really busy, and the people that work there seem really engaged with the community. So I would put that into the great atmosphere. We'll see. So the next time we do the Defiant section, it's going to be hopefully we'll be passing by there, and then we can give a better assessment of how it is to stop there while you're hiking on the Buckeye Trail.
Okay. Next up, we have Cartridge Brewing. They're in the city of Mainville in the Loveland section. Now, this is a pretty cool one. We actually had a whole video named after this brewery.
Yep. Yeah. So if you go back or go back into our archives, or if you've been a follower for a while, you'll know it was even in the thumbnail. It says something about an old munitions factory that's turned into a brewery. That's Cartridge Brewing. Excellent place.
It's really cool.
Absolutely fantastic. It's right along the trail too, which is another bonus. So it's on the Little Miami towpath. Correct?
I believe so, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that bike path that goes.
There's no way you can miss it. Unfortunately, a lot of people that have probably hiked through that area recently, that part of the trail has been closed for the last year. So I think it reopened last year.
Yep.
So Cartridge Brewing. I think we can both agree, great atmosphere.
Yep. Absolutely, really cool.
The history behind it, definitely look it up if you get a chance.
Right. All right. Next up, we're doing Crooked Handle Brewing Company in Pequot.
Okay.
That's on the Troy section of the Buckeye Trail.
Yep.
I have not been there.
I've not been there either.
All right.
So next time we do the Troy section, or maybe
it should be the next weekend we do that.
Okay.
Maybe the next two. I don't know. I'd forget where it is specifically, but I think we should be able to make that next time.
Okay. Great.
All right. Next up, we got the Dayton Beer Company.
Dayton Beer Company. Again, I've been there, but not on the Buckeye Trail. So Dayton's interesting. If you've hiked through there on the Buckeye Trail, you know that the Troy section basically cuts right through downtown Dayton.
Yeah. So
a lot of the breweries that are there are close enough that you could hike to if you really want to, which makes it difficult because if you're hiking through, you're probably not going to want to stop and go to 5 different breweries before you go again.
Yeah, it's about 3/4 of a mile off the trail, so it's not too bad, but it's a little bit of a detour, and it's a lot of stuff in that area. So,
Yep. So when I have been there in the past, I do want to say their beer was pretty good. Nothing that was really stand out to me, honestly. But I thought the atmosphere was really good. We went there. I think there was a big soccer game going on, a lot of excitement among the other people there. So I would put that as a good stop for a great atmosphere.
all right, next up is one we've both been to, Devil Wind Brewing in Xenia on the Cedar Creek section. This one is literally right on the trail. You can't miss it. It's a great stop, especially if you've been walking for hours like we were on the day we stopped there.
Yes.
On the towpath trail. It's a great break to take in the middle of the thing. They were solid, and it was a great rest stop. It needed a much needed respite.
Yeah, and Xenia, if if you know the area,
All right.
There's a lot of trails that kind of intersect there. So obviously the Buckeye Trail goes through there. If you're following the Ohio to Erie bike trail, which is really popular, that goes through there as well. So I think we saw a lot of people that were biking through the area.
Yeah.
A lot of people are hiking. So I think it's a great stop if you're good hiking rest stop.
Absolutely. All right, next up we have 11-3 Brewing in Chardon. They're about a half mile off the trail. They are on the Burton section. You've not been there, but I have, independently of the Buckeye Trail. It's a nice little place. It's pretty new. They have a lot of pretty good beer. I think they've got some really interesting sours there, like cherry pie sours and stuff that are really...
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, they have some pizza, but I don't think they had pizza there when last time I went, but I've been meaning to go back and check it out sometime. But I would put that under the great beer section.
Great. Our first great beer section.
All right. All right, next up we have Esoteric Brewing Company in Cincinnati. They're obviously in the Loveland section. Let's go through there.
That's right in downtown, not downtown Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's like
but right in the city of
It's like
Cincinnati.
within the first mile of the trail starting at the southern terminus.
Yep.
It's about a mile or two from the southern terminus. It's very...
So it is a little bit of road walking.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time on sidewalks to get there.
It's about a quarter mile off the trail. It's not that bad.
But I thought it was fantastic. The creativity on some of the beers that they had there. So I jotted down some notes. So what I had there when we were hiking, it was called Chrysalis. It was a cream ale, which a lot of times you think cream ale, it's not very exciting. But this one had pears and maize and sweetbread. It was like a sweet and grainy and creamy cream ale. It was actually really delicious. Perfect for hiking, but I would put it under the great beer section.
Yeah, I would agree. Yep. All right, next up, we're staying in Cincinnati in the Loveland section, doing 50 West Brewing. That's right on the Buckeye Trail. You can't miss it. It's one of the most unique breweries we've ever been to.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I got it. Let me just set the scene for you here. So the first day we did the Loveland section, we hiked about 10 miles on the first day, right?
Yeah.
So we started in Eden Park. Is that where the...
Yeah, Eden Park is the southern terminus, yes.
So we started there, hiking for about 10 miles, most of it road walking. We were just burned out. It was after dark. We were like, I just want to stop. And then we come over the hill and we see just the glowing lights of 50 West and their amazing outdoor patio. So there are people playing volleyball and
there's picnic tables.
There's everybody was playing. There's a great outdoor space. Their beer is delicious. They had, was it food trucks or
I think they had their own food, hamburgers and stuff.
Oh, hamburgers, that's right.
Yeah, like beach fare basically.
It was a sight for sore eyes and sore feet as we were finishing up.
It was really impressive.
So I want to put it in all three of these categories. I would maybe say great atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards.
I would say unless you're doing the Buckeye Trail, you're probably not hiking through there. You might. It's at the very end of the Little Miami towpath.
It goes pretty close. They have a...
So I guess you could be hiking or you could be biking there.
It goes pretty close to there.
Generally, it's great for anything, especially in the summertime when their outdoor patio is open.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have Ignite Brewery in Barberton in the Akron section. This one is a little off the trail. It's a little over half a mile each way off the trail, but it's a pretty easy walk. You're coming off a bike path and you're just walking on sidewalks until you get to the area. It's not a very busy city usually, so there's not a lot of traffic. But I remember the first time we went there, it was a very hot day. I had a great Mexican lager. It was absolutely what I needed on a hot day. It was perfect. They had a really big outdoor space. There's a lake in the city that's not too far away that you can walk around in if you really want to sightsee while you're stop there. But overall, it's a pretty good place. What would I put this under though?
I personally would put it under hiking rest stop.
Okay, even though it's
It
a little
is.
off out of
It is
the
a
way,
little off the trail,
but it's a nice break in the middle of the
the
towpath.
towpath,
Yeah,
Ohio to Erie towpath trail.
yeah, it's a good break
Or
there.
sorry, Ohio and Erie.
Yes,
towpath.
the other one is in the west side.
Yes, I know it's confusing. They're very similarly named. So hiking rest stop.
Yeah, that works.
I would agree.
Okay, next up, we're going to do the Medina section. In the city of Medina itself, we're doing Loggerheads Brewing Company.
So we did this one. This is when our friend Joe joined us. It was a little bit off the trail.
It's not too far. It's about a quarter mile.
Is it a quarter mile? That's it. Okay. It seemed like longer because I was tired.
Yeah, we were tired by that point.
But yeah, they're known for having really solid beers.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a smaller space. I don't think they had any outdoor seating.
No.
So it wouldn't be great for like a hot day. You just want to sit in the shade and drink a beer.
No, sit inside and drink a beer. But
yeah, I would say in this case, they're more known for their beer over anything.
I would definitely put them in the beer category.
So they do also have a smokehouse, I believe.
I've been there.
You have? Okay.
Yes.
I tried to go there twice. It was busy every time, so I couldn't. I've heard good things about it.
It was really nice.
Good.
I like it a lot.
Okay.
Definitely check that out too.
But I would say
not on the Buckeye Trail, but definitely worth a stop.
Yeah, it's still in the city of Medina, right?
Yeah, it might be
or nearby.
It's very close.
Okay. But Loggerhead's great beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. All right, next up, going back to Dayton in the Troy section, Little Fish Brewing Company, the Dayton branch.
This one's a little weird. I haven't been to this one. You haven't been to this one.
Right.
I've been to the original Little Fish, which is in or near Athens, Ohio, so southeast Ohio.
Yeah.
Not on the Buckeye Trail, unfortunately. Little Fish, while I can't say anything about this location specifically, the original has fantastic beers, great food. I really want to put this under the great beer section, but I haven't been to this one specifically, so I'm going to have to put haven't been. But definitely call it out if you're in Athens or near that part of the state. Go check out Little Fish.
Yeah, we'll have to make a stop there next time we do the Dayton area. Yep. All right, staying in the Southwest, we're going to do Little Miami Brewing Company in Milford on the Williamsburg section.
Yep. So we did this one
coming up through Loveland section.
Through Loveland, yeah. So you can approach it from two different points. If you think of kind of where the Buckeye Trail goes, you have, right. What's the section that comes into it?
That would be Williamsburg.
Williamsburg. Yeah. So it's technically only Williamsburg. We deviated off of the Loveland section a little bit to get in there. So if you're doing either of those sections, it'll be right there. Great place to stop for hiking. I think it's a confluence of a lot of different trails.
There's like 5 or 6 different trails that meet up there. It's
yeah.
really good. North Country Trail and the Buckeye Trail, obviously. Little Miami Trail.
Yep.
Yeah, a bunch of trails there.
And that's, if you've seen that sign, everybody posts pictures of them, hiking with all the different colored signs where all the trails kind of meet. So that's right where that is. It's a great place as a hiking rest stop. The food was delicious.
Yeah.
Beer was great, but it's perfect if you need
for a rest stop. It's a great little trail town. Yep. Okay, moving on to the city of Bolivar in the Massillon section, Lockport Brewery. Now this one's a little off the trail. It's about 3/4 of a mile off the trail, but it's really nice. If you go there in the summer, they have this nice back patio that overlooks a golf course. It's beautiful views. Beer there is fantastic.
A lot of fruit beers and
they have a lot of fruit stuff. Yeah, they have some really good,
which is perfect. Like if you're playing around a golf or hiking the trail, get something refreshing. Where do you want to put this?
I don't know. This one's tough. I would probably put it under the. I want to put it under all three.
Right, because hiking rest stop doesn't necessarily make sense. It is a little bit.
It's pretty far off the trail, so let's put it under beer. I like the beer there.
Their beer was great.
All right, next is one we have not been to, the Loramie Brewing Company in Fort Loramie.
Wait, we skipped one.
Oh.
Lock 15.
Oh, yeah, we did. Okay. Let's do Lock 15 next then.
Okay.
All right, Lock 15 Brewing Company we skipped. That's in the Akron section in the city of Akron, obviously.
Yep.
This one's right on the trail. You can't miss it. It's definitely worth stopping at.
Yeah, so Lock 15, I've been there a number of times. I live near the Akron area, so I go there pretty often. Their food is fantastic. There's no category for great food, unfortunately.
Not all different.
Beer's good too. I would lean towards great atmosphere on this one because it's right along the trail. Yeah. There's some interesting There's like an old store, like a general store that used to be on the lock on the canalway. If it's open, if you go while that's open, you can kind of take a tour and get a history of what the canal system was through Akron. Um, it's right near the city, so if you want to take a little detour into the city of Akron, you can do that as well. I would say great atmosphere for this one.
Yeah, that works. All right, now we can go back to Laramie Brewing Company.
Yep.
Which we have not been to. We will hopefully get to it in a couple trips down in that area. It's in the same area section, which we're not at yet. So,
yep,
we'll move there eventually. But it's right on the trail. I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Yep.
All right, moving back to Medina, the Mad Brewing Company. This one is about a quarter of a mile off the trail. It's pretty close. It's in a pretty busy building. It's a lot of arcade games. There's bars, bowling, go-kart racing. There's a lot of stuff to do there.
I don't know if you could physically hike there.
Yeah, you have to walk on a lot of streets. It's tough.
I even remember driving there was complicated to get to because you had to go. And
it's close, but it's a little complicated. But it might be doable, but it might be worth checking out if you're in a car. Where would we put this?
A great atmosphere. Yeah, all the games you can play. They've got a lot of other beers on tap, so if you don't just want the beers that they have.
Yeah, they've got all your standard.
Just an interesting space too. I think when we went there, because it was in an old warehouse, right?
Oh yeah, there's an
art
show in the
we
back.
walked there. There was an art show. We walked there and we're like, "Are we in the right place?" And then we kept going and we got to the main brewing part. So, definitely an interesting space to go visit. So that's a great atmosphere.
Absolutely. All right, next up, Akron section, Magic City Brewing Company.
I love Magic City Brewing. I am an unapologetic evangelist for everything Magic City. Their beers are fantastic. Maybe some of the best beers I've ever had in the state of Ohio. Some of the things that they're known for, they have some really good sour beers. Mockingjay is one of my favorites. They have IPAs that are really famous. Their A Stout Has No Name is really good. Beers. Yep. Their beers are amazing. But I will also say, great atmosphere as well because it's interesting. It's maybe not everybody's cup of tea. It's very like metal horror themed. So they're always playing like horror movies on the background. So not the best ideal environment for everybody. But just the way they've decorated and the way they kind of.
Also, one note: it is a little hard to get to walking. You have to walk across a pretty busy street to get to it, but you can see it from the Buckeye Trail. It's that close.
Yep.
But it's a little complicated. Okay, moving on to the Medina Brewing Company in Medina, obviously. This is right in the middle of the town square. It's in the basement level of this market area, right?
Yeah.
You have like a butcher and grocery store and a restaurant up above it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really interesting little location. It's right by the trail. It's less than 1/10 of a mile off the trail, so you can't miss it.
Because it's right off of it's not too far off the square.
It's right off the square and down. The Buckeye Trail cuts right through. Where would we put this? Rest stop, maybe?
It is a really good hiking rest stop. I'd say that's probably where
it's the closest one in Medina that you can get to the trail, I think. There's a bunch in Medina that are really close to the trail, but this is the closest. You have to walk right past it.
Yeah.
So
and if you need to stop and get something to eat, the food there is amazing.
Absolutely.
Local farmers and everything like that. So I would say hiking rest stop.
Okay, next up, we're going to go to Missing Falls Brewery in Akron.
Yep, Missing Falls Brewery is in a former industrial site. One of I believe it's BF Goodrich tire manufacturing. Their old factory was actually converted into a space where there used to be two breweries, and I'm still my heart breaks for this. Our Shea Brewing used to have a location there. That was one of my favorite locations in the Akron area. That one unfortunately closed, but Missing Falls is still there in the same building. Still a great place. Their beer's great. Food is fantastic. Their burgers, like if you want to have a heart attack and die, just to get one of their burgers, but they're delicious. It'd be totally worth it.
Yeah.
I would say it's not hard to get to. It's not super close. Like
it's
you have to
3 miles is what I've got written
down. You have to kind of walk around the building to get into the entrance.
So
it's not as straightforward as some of the other ones. I would say this would be the great atmosphere just because of the history of it. And
it's a really interesting building. Yeah.
other stuff in that same area that you can check out as well while you're there.
All right, next up, Muffleheads Brewery in Wakeman, Ohio.
Yep.
We went through Wakeman a few years ago. This brewery had not opened by that point yet, so we have not had a chance to check it out, but maybe sometime we'll check it out in the near future. But it looks interesting.
We also call it the Wakeman Elevator while we're here.
Yeah,
not a brewery, but it was great.
And I know they're big supporters of the Buckeye Trail too. So
yep, so
definitely recommend checking them out in Wakeman as well.
Yep.
All right, next up, Narrow Path Brewing Company in the Loveland section in the city of Loveland. This one is great. It is a step off of the bike trail and the Buckeye Trail that goes right through Loveland.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an absolutely wonderful outdoor patio area. They've got some really interesting beers there.
Yeah.
And I think you had this one, right?
Yeah, the one, I didn't write down the name of it, but there's one that it tasted like a sports drink.
Yeah.
So it was still a beer. It was still alcoholic, but it was refreshing. It was a little bit salty. It was bizarre and amazing, and I loved it. And it was perfect, just what we needed after we've been hiking all day. So
it absolutely goes in the rest stop.
Yes, yes, that is like the definition of a hiking rest stop, and you can tell that's really kind of their clientele. They had a big, open patio area, a lot of picnic tables for people to sit if they've been hiking or
biking, even
cycling the whole day. So
absolutely. Okay, Paradigm Shift is up next. They're in Massillon.
Yep. So that one is a little bit off the trail.
Yeah, you have to walk about a half mile each way to get to it, but it's worth a trip. I think
I would say
I would definitely make the stop if you're walking through the Massillon section. It's kind of right in the middle of the section. There's you've been on endless towpath for a while in each direction, no matter which way you're coming. So once you get to the city of Massillon, it's definitely worth making the trip over there.
Mm-hmm. And I jotted down a note here. The one that I had that I really enjoyed, they have a beer called Island Juice. It's a toasted coconut cream ale. It is like, you're sitting on a beach just drinking, mixed drinks. It's so coconutty, so refreshing. Perfect for if you've been hiking and it's a nice warm day. So
I'll try the next time I'm there.
So hiking rest stop, is that what we're putting that for?
Yes. Okay. All right, next up, there's one you've not been to, the Richfield Brewing Company. They're brand new. They just opened a couple months ago. They're in the Medina section. They're a little hard to get to. They're about a mile off the trail if you're leaving the north exit of Richfield Heritage Preserve, which is a great park.
Oh, yeah.
You have to walk down a pretty busy street to get there. But they don't have a whole lot of beer yet. They've only had about 3 or 4 last time I was there. But they have excellent food. The building is gorgeous. So definitely recommend checking out for the atmosphere, I would say, if you can make it. It's a little hard of a trip to walk up there, though. I would maybe drive if you can.
Yep.
All right, next up, Thirsty Dog.
Yep. So Thirsty Dog. So this has been, just an absolute, staple of the Akron beer scene for, forever. It's been one of the earlier craft beer breweries in Ohio. They've been around for forever. So as far as I know. And, they're more known for 12 Dogs of Christmas is kind of their big popular beer. So if you live in Northeast Ohio, everybody has an opinion about Great Lakes Christmas versus 12 Dogs. Personally, I'm a 12 Dogs guy. This one, technically, you could hike to it from the Buckeye Trail.
Yeah, it's a mile away. You have to walk through a lot of different neighborhoods to get there. It's tough. But
so for me, I would say if you're in the area, I would drive to it. I wouldn't try to walk to Thirsty Dog. But if you want, just an absolute, classic craft brewery, still in the original space they've been in for forever.
Yeah.
They have a little. The hours are kind of touchy on this one, but they do have a little sour tap room. So they just do kind of experimental sours. It's hard to know when they're open. If you happen to be there when they're open, definitely check them out because they do.
It's right down the street.
Yep. But so I would put them for great beer.
Yeah,
they're just
definitely. That's what they're definitely known for.
That's what they're known for.
All right, next up, we're going back to Dayton for Toxic Brewing Company.
So Toxic Brewing Company. So again, I went there not while I was hiking the Buckeye Trail. And again, this is one that you probably wouldn't necessarily want to hike to.
Yeah, it's almost a mile away.
Yeah, it's almost a mile away. It's through the city of Dayton, so it wouldn't be exactly convenient. But it's such a cool place. So their like the artwork and kind of the design of the building is really cool. I remember they had these beautiful, I believe they were violins, they're either violins or guitars. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the photos and see. But they were decorated with this beautiful like skull painting motif. I'll put a picture up in the video. You can see what it is, and you can agree that it's worth checking out just to see how it's decorated. And the beer was great there too.
Awesome.
But great atmosphere.
All right, next up I've got Trailtown Brewing. They are in the city of Yellow Springs on the Cedar Creek section. This one is right on a turn on the Buckeye Trail. You can't miss it. You have to walk right past it if you're going through Yellow Springs.
Yep.
Worth a stop. We've been there a couple times.
Yeah, we stopped there twice. So once when we finished one day, and then once when we started
the next day.
time, so
I would probably recommend this being in the stop area because it's so convenient. It's nice. They have a nice little outdoor covered area.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's technically indoors, but it seems like a screened-in area. But it's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely worth a stop.
Yep.
Next up, we got Warped Wing Brewing in Dayton.
Yeah. So Warped Wing, they are again a little bit outside of where you'd want to necessarily hike.
Yeah, they're in the cluster with all the other ones in downtown Dayton.
Yeah,
but
Dayton is kind of a weird case in that you can get to them, but you don't have the best routes to get there unless you're driving. Warped Wing, I love their stouts. So when I went there, they had some delicious stouts. Again, if you're hiking and it's warm and you've just done 15 miles on the trail, I don't think a stout is necessarily what you want. If you do, that's that's up to you. But they have I would not want to drink a heavy stout after I've been hiking. So I wouldn't necessarily hike to this one, but if you're in the Dayton area, either hiking or for whatever other reason, I definitely recommend checking out for their beer.
Yep. Take your word for it. Okay, next up, Wildside Brewing Company in the city of Grand Rapids. That's on the Defiance section.
Yep. So Wildside, I've been to. You have not.
I have not.
Wildside is interesting. It's a really small space. Very cute space. I liked it. Their beers, and this isn't going to be for everybody, but they have a lot of sours and kind of like funky, wild, hence the name Wildside. Yeah. That's really what they're known for, is some of those wild ales. So if that's your thing, definitely worth checking out. But I know that's not for everybody. I would put them under great beer.
Next up, we're going back to Cincinnati for Woodburn Brewing. Yep. They are right on the trail. You have to walk right past them as you're walking through one of the smaller areas of Cincinnati, but you're still technically in the city proper at that point. But very nice. The beer there is fantastic. It was very hot. We stopped there.
Yep.
But do you have written down what it's called?
I did, yeah. So it's called Salma Shorts. It is a blonde ale with strawberries and rooibos tea. Absolutely refreshing.
Yes,
I loved it. So maybe it was just because I was hot and I had been hiking, but it was so refreshing. I loved it. I would recommend it again. So great beer.
Great beer. All right, coming down to the end here, we got Wrecking Crew Brewworks in Medina. They're just off the square. They're very easy to get to. It's a tiny little space. Mm-hmm. The time I stopped there not hiking the Buckeye Trail, I had this shandy that was outstanding. Probably one of the best shandies I've ever had. The lemon flavor was just popping like crazy. But I know you stopped in there briefly.
I stopped in there separately. Yeah. So I remember their beer being really good. Yeah. So
I would put that under the great beer.
I would agree.
All right, and the last one on our list is Yellow Springs Brewing. They're obviously in the city of Yellow Springs on the Cedar Creek section. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit off the trail, about a quarter of a mile, but it seems to be an extremely popular place. That place was absolutely packed when we went there on Saturday night, Friday night, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, it was absolutely jam packed, and there's a reason. It's a great brewery. The beer there is fantastic. The atmosphere is great. It's right off the trail, so. I don't know where to put this.
I would probably put this under a hiking rest stop because it seems like they're really catering to people that are biking.
The bike trail goes through there. The Buckeye Trail doesn't, but the bike trail continues to go past.
I mean, the Buckeye Trail goes within
it's you can almost see it from,
you could where we basically parked in the brewery parking lot. So I would say this is a great hiking rest stop just because that is sort of who their clientele is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, those are our ratings. What do you think? Is there any that you would disagree on? Are there any that we might have missed? So our methodology for this was to look at Ohio Untapped and then also Google Maps. So it's possible we might have overlooked one. If there's one that we forgot about, let us know in the comments. We want to know about it because if we're out hiking, we want to find all the great craft beer there is
absolutely.
out there. So, next time you're out on the trail, refer back to this list and kind of plan some stops as a good place to check out craft beer. So hike responsibly, and we'll see you out on the trail.
All right.